Between the Nile Valley and the desert are secrets that have been hunted by many generations of explorers. What secrets of the pharaohs of Egypt have already been revealed? Watch the video to the end to find out about the most interesting finds that have haunted the pages of history for many years. Hi friend, you're on the Kurtop channel. Mummified babies. Remember the famous pharaoh Tutankhamun? His tomb, discovered almost 100 years ago, still provides scientists with discoveries. In the tomb, along with Tutankhamun, were the mummies of two children. There were no DNA identification technologies then, so these findings were kept secret and the children were nicknamed 317A and 317B. In modern times, DNA analysis has shown that these two girls, who did not live to see their birth, were most likely the daughters of Tutankhamun. One of them lived for about 4 months and the second was almost full term. The researchers think that the girls were some kind of protectors of their father in other worlds. After all, the ancient Egyptians believed in life after death and took a lot of things with them to the tomb for protection on a journey to the afterlife. So the story of Tutankhamun and his daughters is another amazing chapter in the book of ancient Egypt. Lost City of Gold. Egyptologists expected to find the tomb of the famous pharaoh Tutankhamun, but instead, they discovered something incredible: an entire city lost in the sands of time. Unexpectedly for themselves, they unearthed the ancient capital founded by Tutankhamun's grandfather, Pharaoh Amenhotep III. The city was built of silt bricks and was a complex labyrinth. Clay wine jugs found in the city had hieroglyphs that told the story of its founder. It was Pharaoh Amenhotep III. In addition to bricks with the mark of the pharaoh, they also found amulets and even goldfish. Mummy with golden tongue. Exciting excavations in the northern part of Egypt have led to an amazing find. Archaeologists have discovered a mummy with a golden tongue. The unearthed treasure supposedly exists for about 2,000 years. Excavations took place in the ancient temple of Osiris Magna, not far from Alexandria, where archaeologists found 16 barrels. However, they were not in the best condition. There were even 2 mummies wrapped in a gilded layer that appears to be made from layers of plastered papyrus or linen. One of the mummies had a crown adorned with a cobra and horns. And then we come across an amazing detail: the golden tongue. The thing is that in ancient times, the Egyptians believed that after death, their soul would meet with the god of the underworld, Osiris. The golden tongue was supposed to help the deceased communicate with him. Now, in the Cavana necropolis, where excavations are ongoing, hundreds of ancient burials can be found that date back to different historical periods. In other burials, even pieces of gold items in the form of insects and lotuses were found, which were symbols of prosperity and wealth. Rosetta Stone. When the French were building a fort near the small town of Rosetta, they discovered a strange slab. It was the Rosetta Stone, a piece of a huge stele on which the text was carved in 3 languages. 3 identical inscriptions were carved on the stone, but in different languages. Scientists have been working on deciphering the text for a long time. First they translated the Greek text, then the Demotic, but the hieroglyphs turned out to be the most difficult. Thanks to the efforts of Jean-François Champollion, who can be called the founder of Egyptology, the secret of hieroglyphs was revealed. Thanks to the stone, we know who built the pyramids, what gods the Egyptians worshipped, and how they made mummies. And this is just the beginning of the amazing story that the Rosetta Stone revealed to us. Silver Pharaoh. In the city of Tanis in Egypt in 1940, Pierre Monti opened the amazing tomb of Pharaoh Sesens I. The pharaoh was buried inside 3 tombs. The first 2, made of red and black granite, were reused, that is, they had previously belonged to other pharaohs. The third coffin, in which the mummy of Sesenus lay, was made of silver, which is unusual for ancient Egypt because silver was more valuable and rare than gold. On the outer side of the red sarcophagus, there was an inscription saying that it belonged to Pharaoh Amenhotep, a follower of Ramesses II from the 19th dynasty. In addition to the silver coffin, many gold and silver jewelry inlaid with stones such as lapis lazuli, carnelian, and glass paste were found in the tomb. The most amazing thing is that Strangest I, also known as the Silver Pharaoh, lived for about 80 years. At the time, this was a real miracle since very few could live to be even 40 years old. Mummy of Ramesses II. This story is about the mummy of Pharaoh Ramesses II who moved from Egypt to France. He even had to get a passport for this. And you heard me right, in 1974, Pharaoh Ramesses II, even as a mummy, received a real passport. The Egyptian government was forced to issue it because, according to French law, valid travel documents are required to enter the country, and it doesn't matter if you're alive or a mummy. So, with the passport and the status of pharaoh deceased, Ramesses II set off on a journey to help preserve himself for future generations in a French laboratory. At the same time, he was met in Paris with military honors, as it should be when meeting a high-ranking official. Ramesses II was the third pharaoh of the 19th dynasty of ancient Egypt in the 12th century and lived for an incredible 96 years. During this time, he managed to build a lot of temples and other structures, including the famous tomb of Ramesses in Thebes and temples Abu Simbel. Ramesses II spent most of his posthumous existence in the Valley of the Kings, after which he had to be reburied in a tomb near Deir el-Bahri due to looting. In 1881, his body was moved to the Egyptian Museum of Cairo and then, as you already know, sent to France. Mummy of Amenhotep. Scientists were able to unwrap the mummy of King Amenhotep I, which is more than 3,500 years old, without removing a single layer of embalming linen. They were helped by advanced X-ray technologies and computed tomography. So, with the help of scanning, the researchers were able to see the face of the ancient king, found out his age, height, and state of health at the time of death. The generated 3D images show that Amenhotep I had an oval face with a narrow chin, a small nose, and slightly protruding upper teeth. Based on the analysis of the bones, scientists determined that he died at the age of about 35 years and was generally healthy. Interestingly, Amenhotep I's brain was not removed during the mummification process, which is unusual for pharaohs of the New Kingdom such as Tutankhamun and Ramesses II. He was also buried with 30 amulets and a belt with gold beads. The original tomb Amenhotep I has not been found, but his mummy was discovered in Luxor in 1881. By taking thousands of very thin tomography sections of the mummy and combining them, the scientists formed a complete 3D reproduction of the king's body. Valley of the Golden Mummies. The Valley of the Golden Mummies is located 400 kilometers from Cairo in the Bahariya Oasis. Here, archaeologists discovered 22 mummies covered with gold and decorated with gold coins and jugs. All these are gifts for the gods. Historians believe that this is the burial place of a prince who lived in the 6th century BC and his faithful servants who were sent to the next world with him. The uniqueness of this find is that since 1999, 200 mummies have already been found here, and each of them is a real work of art. And the most amazing thing is that archaeologists are not going to stop and suggest that there may be up to 10,000 mummies here. Secret tunnels under the Sphinx. A long time ago, photographs showed us mysterious passages penetrating the inside of the Sphinx, a giant statue on the Giza Plateau in Egypt. But official scientists hide these facts, and it is not easy to find a photo with a top view of the Sphinx. Imagine there are already 6 secret passages. One is on the back of a huge figure, the other is near the ground at the hip, the third is in the middle, the fourth is under the ear, the fifth is right in the center of the head, and the sixth is between the powerful paws. Zahi Hawass, the great curator of antiquities, even personally descended into one of these passages and found a chamber inside. But this is where things get interesting. Now, Zahi denies everything. He says that there are no passages in the Sphinx, it's all just cracks from old age. It seems to me that he's starting to cheat, and here's why. The famous sleeping prophet, Edgar Cayce, spoke of a secret hole between the paws of the Sphinx. Inside this hole is a treasure trove of the history of Atlantis. What if Zahi has been there and wants to keep this discovery for himself? Imagine how great it would be to know the whole history of Atlantis, all its secrets, collected in one place. Do you believe in this story? Write your opinion in the comments. Black sarcophagus. All over the world, the famous sarcophagus is spoken of as the find of the century, because inside the stone coffin everyone expected to see Alexander the Great. Many were afraid to open the sarcophagus because of the ancient curses associated with the story of the tomb of Tutankhamun when the expedition members began to die. But archaeologists are sure curses are just horror stories, and so the sarcophagus was opened. And inside, 3 skeletons. Apparently, they were warriors because one of them has a fractured skull, but there are no golden masks, no jewels, meaning this is not Alexander the Great. Now, these mysterious skeletons are in the Alexandria Museum for further study, and we continue to believe that one day the sarcophagus of Alexander the Great will still be found. It seems science recognizes that there are still many unsolved mysteries associated with the pyramids and their keepers. Great minds are struggling with the most complex mysteries of the past, but it seems that the ancestors have safely hidden their biggest secrets. Secrets that you will see on this channel. Please like this video and subscribe to the channel. Watch this video as well about the findings frightening scientists around the world. See you on Kurtop.